So the question is, at what point in time did I think of myself as a hardcore Star Trek fan? Probably about 87, 88. I had seen Star Trek, the motion picture, when it came out in the theater. My dad was a big Star Trek fan, and we went and saw it. I didn't know Star Trek at the time. I didn't really care, but I couldn't help but marvel when I would look up at the screen and be like, wow, it was pretty impressive. And then later on, I don't know when I saw Wrath of Khan. It came out in like 82 or something like that, and I don't think I saw it until like 86, maybe. My dad was watching the series, Star Trek, when we were in Japan, and I'd be like, oh, we gotta watch this again? Because I'd want to watch something else, or cartoons, or whatever. And, but it's one of those things, you watch something, even if you don't like it, which I did like it, but I didn't really care, because I want to do other things. I'm a kid. But I would watch it, and anytime you watch something over and over again, it kind of gets into your head. So then later on, I had seen Wrath of Khan, and I really enjoyed that. Still, it wasn't until, I think, about 87, 88, where I was working at the pizza parlor in Kaneohe, Hawaii, and I would come home from work at about, a little after 11 o'clock at night, and I'd turn on the TV, and whatever channel was on at the time, the original series would be on in syndication. It would be on at that time, like 5 days a week. And I would come home, and I would sit down, and I'd watch it. And they got to the point where I'd come home, and I wouldn't want to stay late. I got to go home because I'm watching Star Trek. I'd get home, and I'd go grab a Coke and drink it, and I'd watch Star Trek. I wouldn't even get out of my work clothes. I worked at the pizza parlor. I'd get, I'd have like dried up pizza sauce crust on my shirt or something like that, or the flour. I'd make pizza, so I'd get flour on me, and anytime you get it on you, it eventually will work. It gets onto your shoes. It works its way into your shoe too. All right, then you get and anytime anything gets in your shoe, next thing you know, it's on the bottom of your foot, under your sock. And I'd get home, I'd grab my coat, I'd take my shoes off, and I'd watch it. And it always reminds me of the fact that my cat would come home and be like, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you all day. Oh, what's that smell? What is that? I like that. And he'd come up, and she'd grab my foot, and she'd be like, oh, what is that on your foot? I kind of like, I like that, huh? bite my toes, and it was just funny, and so I've always got that to associate with Star Trek as well. My cat, I've got a lot of cat stories, but then I really got into it, and watching the series, then I was able to really get involved with it, and I'm not a hardcore fan in the fact that I know all of the classes of ships, or all of the locations, or every place I've ever been to. I think what I mostly got out of it was that I really fell in love with the family, the Enterprise itself, and the people on board, their relationships together. Especially, of course, like everybody knows, Bones and Spock and Kirk, their relationship, but everybody involved, and the ship itself. After I got to the point where I had that emotional connection with the members and the family of Star Trek, I was able to go back and watch the earlier movies, and then I had a whole new feeling about those. I'd watch the first movie, and when Spock comes back, or when Bones gets on the ship, and he's like, "Why'd you send me here?" and I'm even thinking about it, and it's getting me. And Kirk would be like, Bones, I need you. And right away, Bones would be like, I'm here, man. That's not what he said.
I need you. Damn it, Bones. I need you. Badly.
Permission to come aboard?
Permission granted, sir.
But I had this new found emotional connection with it, and I thought, and now anything from the first movie to Undiscovered Country, there's scenes in there. All you got to do is put the clip on, and it'll hit me right in the freaking heart, and it gets me good. Especially scenes in Wrath of Khan will really hit me hard emotionally.
On screen, sir.
But I think in Hawaii, when I would come home and watch the original series with my cat rubbing up against my foot, biting my toes, I think that's when I became a hardcore Star Trek fan. As far as, like he said, the relationships and the people. And never looked back. Absolutely loved it. And I always will.
Bruce, let me take you back to 1983. We have HBO in the house, cable TV. We were early adopters back then. So they are playing Wrath of Khan on loop all the damn time. I watched it about 1 million times probably that year. And, it's a significant year because Jedi drops. And it's the conclusion to the Star Wars trilogy. It's moribund. We don't think there's going to be more Star Wars. That's the end of it. However, Trek keeps rolling on. What's more is that we had no idea when home exhibition for Star Wars would be available. But Star Trek movies were already rolling. This is a nice thing. Then you have Star Trek 3, 4, 5. 4, of course, was the first one I saw in the theater. But I had watched the rest of them on loop up to that point, and they kept coming out. They were routine deliveries from Paramount Studios. We could expect them. There was always some nice adventure. It was alive. There was blood in the veins. It wasn't the static thing. The one thing Trek has over Star Wars, I think, really definitively, is sort of the father figure thing. Where Star Wars almost feels like kids being disobedient, misbehaving in the back of the class. There's something much more linear and rational about Star Trek, with that tripartite father figure thing between Kirk, Spock, and Bones. That, it's somehow more nutritive for me in my diet. Even though I was born a Star Wars kid, that was, it's tattooed on me when I was a kid. I think overall we've gotten more enjoyment out of Trek. I don't think that's a really explosive thing to say. The older I get, the more I watch Star Trek over and over again. And I get different layers to it. It ages with me. It is perfectly appropriate for me when I was 8 years old. And, I'm 47, and there's just so much more there now. Can't explain why, but it's kind of beautiful. It's got those layers built in. Star Wars has layers too, but I don't think there's that sort of maturity that Star Trek has, over years and years and years. It adds up to something. Watching these people from the 60s until 1991 is just, it's a journey. There's something to it.
Jim, catch you on break. We will